Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 3 Martini Lunch. My name is Jay Izso, and I am with some of the brightest minds and most successful business people across this great nation of ours. It is going to be a time where we're going to help you become all that you could become. And now it is my pleasure to introduce to you the sommelier of scintillating conversation, the master mixer of mixers. He is your head bartender and the lead singer of Rockstar Connect, Stephen David Elliot.
Thank you very much, Jay. That definitely gets the blood pumping and makes me feel real excited. And then Sarah said, I'm going to go get you a drink too, Stephen. So I motivated her as well. She's left the room to get me a little cocktail. Here we are at the 3 Martini Lunch, virtual networking event powered by Rockstar Connect. I'm sure a lot has happened in the last 2 weeks. Of course, I'm going to want to know at the beginning your success for the week, a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to do the question of the week. And the question of the week is developed to inspire those of us out in social media land, what it means to be an entrepreneur, what that freedom means, and how you can achieve it yourself, most importantly. Good to see some familiar faces. It's been a while, John. I hope you're doing well in North Carolina as well. We're pretty North Carolina heavy today, but that's fine because we love everyone from the Carolinas. So on our news on our front, we bought a bar robot called a Bartesian for our bar it's sort of like a Keurig, and you push a button and it mixes cocktails for you. So we're perfectly ready for the holiday season. We're also planning our Thanksgiving Day menu, and I am going to make a cassoulet for Thanksgiving. So I'm going to add a turkey cassoulet. So instead of chicken and duck, I'll probably have chicken, duck, and turkey in it. It'll be my sort of deconstructed turk ducking. Sarah just brought me a nice bottle. You see that one, Domenic? Very, very tasty that I've been enjoying the last couple of days. Great. Mark is joining us too. So this week we're going to start off with the success, and I just want to give you all the question as well. We're going to start with Clint and then go to Katie because they're a little pressed on time at the end of the call. The question is, I thought this was a really good question. Who has qualities that you aspire to develop? And that could be someone you know, or someone that you follow in a podcast, or a book that you've read, a famous historical figure, or just someone within your own organization. Do you guys have that question? Is that a hard one? That's an easy one. Who wants to go first with that, Clint or Katie?
Ladies first.
We're going to go with Katie. You're so brave, Katie. Congratulations. First of all, what do you do? What's your most recent success? And the question is, who has qualities that you aspire to develop? You're muted.
Okay, I've never done Zoom before. I'm Katie Blomquist. I'm the founder and executive director of the nonprofit Going Places, and we give new custom bikes to every single child at once in the low-income elementary schools in big surprise bike reveals. And next month we are building 465 bikes, and we're building. So we're going to do another smaller school after the new year. We're building those bikes now, but we're going to give 390 of them now and then save the rest for after the new year at a school in North Charleston called Lambs Elementary. And we need volunteers to help build those bikes. So I know you guys had mentioned some people may want to come down and help, be at the bike reveal. It's November 11th, 12th, and 13th, which is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And it's 2-hour shifts, but people can sign up for more than one shift from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day. And then we're actually going to give those bikes out on November 15th, which is a Monday. And the kids volunteers arrive at 8 a.m. to unload all the bikes off the semi trucks and set them up under big tarps. And then we'll actually give them away at 9 a.m. So if that's of interest, I'll put that info in the chat in the sign up link. But what the question is, what about entrepreneurship? What can you repeat it, please?
The question is, who has qualities that you aspire to develop?
I think, do you guys know who Bobby Bones is? Okay, so almost everyone's nodding yes. For people who don't know who he is, he's a major country music, do you call him DJ, disc jockey, radio host. He also, was on Dancing with the Stars and won. He's a mentor in American Idol, but he literally grew up from like nothing and like slept on a couch, didn't even have a bed, and completely created this extremely successful life. He writes books on, goals and not giving up. And his goal is to become governor of Arkansas one day. And he has a show on National Geographic where he goes out into the, it's kind of like a dirty job show, where like you go out and you experience people's hard jobs and put yourself in hard situations. He's just taken his, not only built a successful radio career, but has pulled it into all these other completely different areas and made this real name for himself. And he really genuinely seems like a genuine person. Like he's never you can just tell when someone lets fame kind of go to their head, or they have this kind of air about him. He married like a total regular person, no one in the music industry. And so he's definitely someone I would want to if I ever became his level of success, to aspire to stay level-headed like that. He wears like hoodies and sweatpants all the time. He's not a big show flashy guy. I would be a little more flashy than that, but like my attitude, I'd want to remain even keel. So he seems like a nice, cool guy. They say, who would you want to have dinner with? Him. I want business advice from him. I want to hang out with him. I would like to be like him. He's a good role model.
That's a great part of social media too, because probably you would never been exposed to someone similar to him, because he's not made necessarily to be a celebrity.
Right, exactly. And he's, surround himself with the right people, you can tell, that have helped guide his career. And he's just seems, I feel like his opinion is always right. Like his advice is always right. He's hilarious. He just seems like a really great all around person.
That's terrific. Now, I was having a conversation with Jenny, I think it was about maybe it was last week or the week before that. And we were talking about Reels, which is the TikTok for Facebook. And
for Instagram.
Oh, well, it's connected
for Facebook.
I know, but it just launched on Facebook. It's not as big there.
Right, but to touch someone as old as me and get them, it's hard to get me to start another platform. It's now right in my social media. Now I sort of get TikTok and I understand it. And so why do people see so much value in this? I've learned a lot, and I've been introduced to a lot of national people that have a lot to say through Reels. So
yeah, I post a weekly reel, if not more than one. I took a Instagram reel course to really learn about it. And it's amazing what it can do with your exposure.
I saw your reel on networking.
Yeah.
This week, and I think I followed you and gave you a thumbs up, etc.
Yeah, that one got a lot of hits and comments, which was some don't get a bunch and some get 40,000. It's weird.
I was able to use a reel to get my brother $6,000.
Awesome.
Yeah, and just watching one reel, then doing a little bit of research, and put $6,000 in his pocket. So they're pretty valuable, and it's a lot of little celebrities on that. Sometimes, in fact, I look at the reels and I can't believe that the person only has 50 people following them, because the reel is such high quality with such good information. So I guess that's the beauty of social media. Clint, I know you're out at the end of the show, so tell us what you do, a little bit of your recent success, and let me say it exactly. The question: who has qualities that you aspire to develop?
All right. So first off, Katie, I 100% agree with the Bobby Bones thing. And Sarah, yes, you should probably tag him on that. He also has a singing comedy show that he does with his producer Eddie, and it's actually pretty phenomenally funny. So my name is Clint Webb. I work for Coeco Office Systems. So we're a small business owned by the same owners, same family for 100 years, based out of Rocky Mount. My office is in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we handle office documentation. So we help your business run smoother through like copiers, printers, scanners, plotters, fax machines, if anybody still uses fax machines, and whatnot. And the thing that separates this business from other types of businesses like Coeco from Coeco is that we have the service technicians in our business is what makes this business run, and they've all been with us for 20 plus years. And we have like a 4 hours 4-hour turnaround time if something happens to one of your machines. So that's kind of a big deal in our industry. I don't know, somebody I'd like to be. I mean, Katie, that's a good one. It's hard to beat that one. Lewis Howes would be one of mine. And if anybody knows who Lewis Howes is, he has the #1 health and mental health podcast on the podcast verse. Like he is over, I think it's like 1,300 shows so far. He talks to all kinds of doctors and actors and religious leaders and entrepreneurs and all kinds of things. It's just an amazing amount of knowledge that he provides the universe. And the thing that I like most about him is he is the best question asker, period. So if anybody wants to hear some good rhetoric, some good ways to ask questions, listen to this guy. I mean, if you don't care what he has to say, you should listen to him in the way he asks questions and what he asks his guests. He has one I'll share with you. Is one he asked at the end of every show. He said, "Tell me your 3 truths." He said, if you were leaving this world and you had only your loved ones surrounding you and all of your content, so this is pretty significant for people on this panel, all of your content is gone. None of your content exists anymore. So once you pass away, all of it is gone. What are the 3 things you're leaving behind? What are you going to write down on a piece of paper? 3 things that you want to leave behind in this world. So just stuff like that, very thought provoking. And he was a Division I athlete, had a very bad experience happen to him when he broke some bones and lost his scholarship and lost his drive and was sleeping on his sister's couch, and then bam, overnight, which doesn't seem like, I'm sure it's not overnight to him, but overnight to the world, he just became this guy and the guy. So if you haven't checked him out, check him out. He's on all major podcast platforms. Is HOWES, Lewis Howes. You're on mute, Stephen.
I'm on mute. It's the first time I'm using Zoom as well. So even someone like Lewis Howes, he is coaching as well.
Yeah.
Elise Archer, Rockstar Connect host, way back, also from Georgia.
Absolutely.
She was a branding coach for Lewis Howes.
Yep.
He was, a client of her company to learn how to brand himself.
Yeah, and we've had some conversations about him as well since I met her on this panel.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go over to Lisa Grunden. So Lisa, just real quickly, what you do, latest success, and then the question is, who has qualities that you aspire to develop?
Thank you. Hi, Lisa Grunden, the host of the podcast on F Your Life. I am life-changing coach. My biggest success this past week is I've gotten on a platform with a lot of others. And so we're sharing not only our gifts, our talents, and bringing a platform to the masses at a very, very, very great introductory rate. I mean, we're talking $10 to $100 a month here. And it's just really exciting that it's not just to entrepreneurs, that it's to everyone. It's for absolutely everyone who wants to make some kind of major change in their life. And I love being able to offer it at that dollar value. And who I most like, and I gave this question some thought because I've asked this before. And, it comes back to when I was a really small kid, there was this guy running for president. And I just liked something about him, and I didn't know anything about politics or anything. I really didn't. I was very young and naive as a kid. And then watching the things that he did since he was president. And then I lived in Georgia for a while, and I got to see even more. And then one of my very favorite charities, one of my very favorite things for humanity is Habitat for Humanity. And I really, really like Jimmy Carter. And I no longer subscribe to any kind of political party, so just take that out if that's what's in your awareness. It's the free elections around the world. There was everybody on the planet was talking smack about this guy long before there was social media. And, he persevered with his truth. And there is this organic genuineness and humbleness about him. I've never actually been in his physical presence where I've been like really, really close to him. I've been several thousand feet off actually. And I really admire those qualities that well into his life. I mean, in his mid-90s, he was still assisting in building houses, pre-elections in the world, because he's not just for men or for women, he's for the planet, for humanity overall. And by humanity, I mean every living thing on the planet, whether it be plant, animal, vegetable, mineral, whatever. And yeah.
Thank you for sharing. And you'll have to drop that platform into the chat so we'll know what you're talking about, okay?
Absolutely.
And Sarah, yes, he was a peanut farmer.
Yes.
One of the things he did.
Yep. One of the many.
One of the many things. John FitzGerald. If you could tell us
I knew that was coming.
that was coming.
Well, I was just laughing at Lisa's share because I had a story I was going to tell. Imagine that.
Well, that's great. Well, why don't you start off telling us
So
who you were and latest successes, and then your story. And
all right. My name is John FitzGerald. I'm a real estate broker. I manage a real estate office, and I am an education provider and real estate instructor for the Learn More Institute of Real Estate. I'm a real estate educator, and my recent success was I was brought up in the ranks of my organization. We're a $1.4 billion company, and I was just named the vice president of growth and development. So now, in addition to helping my individual office, now I'm going to help all 800 agents. That was kind of cool. But we were having a manager mentor session, and we were sharing some of the things we like to do. And one of the things I've been called to do just in my life is public speaking and things like that. And they were asking, well, how did you get started? And to Lisa, I was just cracking up when I heard Lisa's share about Jimmy Carter. I was in the seventh grade. And we were having, it was at the time with the Carter Ford presidential campaign. And so as a school, we were going to do these presentations to help us understand how politics worked. And they asked me to be Jimmy Carter. So in the seventh grade, I got up in front of everybody in the class, and we're talking about a couple hundred kids, and I gave a speech as Jimmy Carter, campaign speech. And the bug caught me. And I've been doing it ever since. And it just cracked me up because I knew as soon as Lisa started talking about Jimmy Carter, and I told this story last week, I'm like, Steven's going to call on me. I just know who he is.
That's great. And congratulations on your new position. Who has the qualities that you aspire to develop?
This is another one of those things that I've bounced around a lot of different people. There's these phenomenal inspirations in my life. And as we were talking about this, I kind of thought back to some of the things that are going on right now, and operational excellence is one of the things that I'm concerned with at the moment due to what's going on in our society right now. I just think that, somebody needs to grab a hold of our lives and get some operational excellence. And one of the best examples of operational excellence I've ever seen in my life is a gentleman by the name of Dan Horner. Dan Horner is the current, he's the CEO and the one of the co-founders of True Homes. out of Monroe, and they have offices in Charleston and Raleigh and or build in different submarkets. And I met Dan Horner when I was with a company called CP Morgan out of Indiana, and we were the largest home builder in Charlotte. They were the largest home builder in Indiana, and we're talking about managing home building operation and closing upwards of 1,500 homes a year and not missing closings. Operational excellence is one of the things he does the best. And just a shout out to Dan Horner. I really respect him in the real estate and home building industry.
Hey, that's great. And with real estate, wow, real estate is really changing at a rapid pace. I mean, last a month ago, everybody was afraid of Zillow, and now they're sort of laughing at Zillow. A little bit of shade and Freud on the part of thinking that any one person can be the most dominant person in real estate or dominant actor is sort of a little bit of folly. But go ahead. You're going to say something, John?
2007, we were all kicking it in real estate. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, Ryan Holmes, buddy of mine at Ryan Holmes, NVR, started pulling back out of the market. Mm-hmm. 2007, they saw something coming before any of us did, as far as operationally done. And when I saw that Zillow thing, something in the back of my mind said, maybe Zillow knows something we don't know. Versus them being overextended and they screwed up and la. Something back of me went, whoa, wait a minute. Zillow's pulling back on their holdings. What if they know something we don't know? I don't know.
I sort of missed out, of course, on an opportunity there because I try to work with these players. I mean, they're going to be around. So I've sold a couple properties to Zillow this year on behalf of my clients. And guess what? They paid me a pretty hefty commission. Yeah. And boy, they grossly overpaid for those homes. Not by like $10,000, $20,000, like $100,000 on a home.
Well,
they just purchased a home for me for $541 that we had on the market at $495, and we didn't get one offer in 2 months, and they paid $540 for it.
And they certainly bought their market share. We know that. Zillow came in and bought their market share, and kudos to them for having the ability to do it. Right. And they did. They overpaid. They were one of the few iBuyers that actually came in and ponied up real dollars. But it is interesting how all this is changing and how rapidly it's changing. I'd hate to try to be up on Inman or any of these other prognosticators and try to say what's going to happen next year, because
I just wish when Zillow told me, hey, we're getting ready to stop buying. And I was thinking that, why didn't I just short their stock at that point?
I know.
Because I had a good 3 weeks to short that stock.
Uh-huh.
Next time. Hey, let's go over to Domenic. You cool? Because I know last week you were on, but we missed you. I don't want to miss an opportunity to hear your opinion this time. Are you good?
I'm good.
Are you feeling better?
Yeah, I'm feeling better. Thank you.
You had sort of like a post-wedding hangover the last
Yeah, way to steal my thunder there about my success since the last time I was on here.
I screwed you over on that one.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Let's rewind backwards. Who are you? What's your latest success? And who has qualities that you aspire to acquire?
Sure. So my name is Domenic Battistella. I'm a partner with the Raleigh firm of New York Life. And I had a pretty big life success. As Stephen already mentioned, Heather and I got married weekend before last. And Jenny was there, and Stephen was there, and Sarah was there. So it was great to have some great friends there to witness that with us and to spend the time. So I appreciate that, and it was great to. It was a great time. Yeah, it was a great wedding.
Sarah and I were almost late.
Yeah, I know. Well, you weren't the only one. Don't worry.
Really tried.
Yeah, exactly. You made it. So that's all that counts.
I don't know. I mean, your wedding, your uncle had some pretty cool qualities as a speaker. Is that someone you aspire to be like?
I love my Uncle Mike He's a fantastic guy, and he's been one of many influential people in my life. And it's kind of cool that in the circles that I've in the networks that I've been able to build, particularly in his world of information technology and artificial intelligence and cybersecurity and things like that, that I've been able to connect the people in my network with him and his company that does a lot of those things. And I think those relationships are going to bear fruit for everybody involved. So that was really cool to be able to introduce him to Scott, Jenny's husband, and a couple of other people there at the wedding, to develop a nice relationship there. I was not going to mention him. I didn't think of that. I was thinking of somebody else that was a little bit different than somebody who maybe people had heard of before. I think back to when I was swimming very, very competitively at a national level. I had the head coach of my club team. His name was Bill Peak, and he was the head coach of the University of Kentucky before coming out to our club. He was the coach who trained Mary T. Maher, former world record holder and multi-time Olympic gold medalist. And he passed away when I was in college, unfortunately. He had a lot of great characteristics, and he had a lot of characteristics of that you wouldn't want to follow too. Right. That's the thing, is people are complicated, and sometimes the people we look up to can also teach us lessons about things that we don't necessarily want to be, because people aren't perfect and you have to accept the flaws along with the positive characteristics. So, I think of him as somebody who taught me to be mentally tough, to push through physical and mental barriers that I had, that, I didn't have to be the most physically talented or the most mentally talented, as long as I was the best prepared, as long as I worked the hardest. Hard work plus a little bit of talent is going to beat talent without the work any day of the week. And that's something that I think that all of us as entrepreneurs take into our lives, because we all work our asses off in order to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. So I got to learn that at an early age from him. But and I also got to learn being dedicated to a cause. This is a guy who, he could have taken his little bit of notoriety that he got from being in the position that he was in, coaching an Olympic medalist, and taken that into guest speaker roles and being making it a really, really nice living on that kind of circuit. But instead, he just wanted to continue to dedicate himself to the support and to the sport, and bringing up young people and teaching them the skills that they need at an early age. And even being the head coach of a pretty big club team, he didn't make a lot of money. He drove a old cheap car, and he's a Vietnam veteran who smoked cigarettes to and from swim practice, and things that you wouldn't think that a swim coach would want to be doing in front of kids. So these are some of the flaws, right? Like just demonstrating behavior that maybe healthy people don't want to have. And he was complicated, but I will never forget him. He's one of the best coaches that I've ever had at anything in my life. And, even though he's passed now, I still talk about him to my kids and say, you know what, this is somebody who taught me about hard work and the value of persevering through things that are difficult, and the types of benefits that it can bring to you long term. Bill Peak.
What was his name?
Bill Peak.
Bill
Peak. 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 Yeah.
Peak performance, or
yeah.
Peak.
No, peak, like the tip of a mountain.
Right, peak.
Yeah.
That's what it said.
Peak.
Peak.
K-E-I-K.
Peak.
Sarah, I'm hearing what he's saying. You're not hearing what he's saying.
So
PEAK,
PEAK.
like the
So-
peak apex.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, he coached Mary T. Maher. So some of us who are a little bit older might know her. World record holder and gold medalist, Olympic gold medalist in the 100 and 200 butterfly. Incredible swimmer. Even when she went back to the Olympics in I think 92. So she won in 84, and then she made a comeback in 92, qualified for the Olympics. This is a woman who was training with me in our training group at that time. And I think I was maybe 14 or 15, and she's got a kickboard and she's kicking faster than I can full speed swim, arms, legs, and everything. I mean, it's just incredible. So it was really cool to get to work with her and to get to learn from him. You know.
Excellent. Mark, let's go over to Mark Sher. Mark, first of all, real quickly, who you are, what your latest success is, and then in a little more in depth, answer the question about who you aspire to have qualities similar to.
Fair enough. Well, I'm Mark Sher. I'm principal of Safe Harbor Financial Group, and we teach people financial literacy without going through a long explanation. The 60-second or the 30-second elevator speech is, I want to ask people, have them see this question through social media. Are you 100% sure you're going to have a great retirement? Do you have some doubt? And 90+% of the people, I don't care if they make $50,000 a year, if they make $1 million a year, a lot of folks have doubt. And I then respond to them, you're like most people. What if I could show you how to get a debt, all your debt, including your mortgage, student loans, if you have any consumer credit, in about 9 years without spending a penny more than you're spending now, could I get 20 minutes of your time? So in a nutshell, that's what we do at Safe Harbor Financial Group. Okay, so people that I aspire to be. There are so many of them. It'd be like making a patchwork quilt of all the people. I'll tell you I'll just give you two quick people that I really think are very interesting people. Albert Einstein, one of my favorite people, because what did he do? He created things. And what do? Well, we help create debt-free lives for people, and we help create a guaranteed retirement for people. And I was speaking to a gal, as a matter of fact, yesterday morning, I was on a Zoom with her, and she sold her home, or two homes. Her husband passed away 4 years ago, or 5 years ago, and she sold her business. And I was able to spend an hour on the phone and Zoom with her, because she was a little bit old school, didn't have speakers on her, at least that worked on her computer. And she goes, wow. She goes, I've learned more in this time with you than the last 30 years dealing with my CPA and financial folks. So that made me feel really good. And I'm sure we're going to do business together. So, but back to Albert Einstein. He had a great saying. And his great saying that I enjoy, he had a lot of them, was that a person who never makes a mistake never tried anything new. And I try to really remember that, because I don't care who you are, you're going to make mistakes. And if you say you don't make mistakes, you're a liar. It's that simple. And the next person that I really look up to is someone named Sidney Freeman. Domenic, you know who Sidney Freeman is? I figured you would. But anyway, most people don't. Sidney Freeman passed away pretty recently. It's in the last 24 months, I believe, maybe 36. But anyway, they had the Sidney Freeman Institute, so his name will live on. He was considered the best financial insurance salesperson in the world, okay? And he always used to say something that I really believe in too. You can achieve anything you want in life if you have the courage to dream it, the intelligence to make a realistic plan, and the will to see the plan through to the end. If you, as an entrepreneur, can follow that rule, you're obviously going to be successful. So there we go.
That's excellent. That's very good. Something I posted on social media this week that had a lot of comments and engagement was I said that the purpose of being an entrepreneur is freedom. And there were many people that agreed with that sentiment. And then there were a lot of people that are entrepreneurs that said, well, I've been an entrepreneur for decades and I don't have freedom. And I said, well, I think, that may be a limiting mindset on your part. If you were to compare yourself to other people that may have a job, they may have a job, or, well, what is freedom? Is freedom financial? Is freedom time freedom? Is it freedom of thought? I remember jobs and they told me when I could go to the bathroom. Right? I mean, so it's important, that these are definitely things that we need to look at as entrepreneurs. I think ultimately entrepreneurs are free people, regardless of what the government is trying to do to get us to give up that freedom. And the freedoms that you give up, you do give up by choice. And the more that you give away, the more likely people are going to try to take your freedoms away from you, whether that be, friends, acquaintances, family members, employers, or people you do business with. I just got a little off tangent there. It's just something I wanted to share. Let's go. We'll go Rena, then Jenny, and then Jay.
Hey, everybody. It's so great to be back with you. I've been gone for a while, been busy. I'm Rena. I'm a voice, speech, and presentation coach. I work with people who are terrified to speak in public, all the way to people who are really, really good at what they do, but want to up their game. My success this week is I have a podcast that I started right at the beginning of the pandemic. When all of my face-to-face speaking engagements were canceled, I decided to do something productive with that free time. So I started a podcast called Let's Get Vocal with Rena. And I thought with that title, I could talk about voice and speech, but I could also talk about other topics that get me vocal, or to get the people that I interview vocal. I launched a new strand of that podcast this week called Significant at 70 and Beyond. And I wanted to deal with the issues surrounding those of us in our senior years who are resolved to be viable, to be significant, to be contributing well into our senior years. People for whom traditional retirement, relax, take it easy, wind down is not a viable option. So I'm real excited about this new strand of Let's Get Vocal with Rena, Significant at 70 and Beyond. And I love the question that you presented about who influenced you, who do you admire? And two women came to my mind. One is a famous woman who I don't personally know, and the other is a very dear friend. Now, Stacey Abrams was the first image that came to my mind when you asked this question. And I see her as being a change agent, someone who has strength, intelligence, clarity, fearless in acting her agenda. And I would love to take those qualities on board more securely in my own life. And then I thought about my dear friend, Ruth Brailsford, who is my age, and we have been teaching side by side since the late 80s. And I was thinking about her qualities, and what I said to myself was, she's intelligent, she's clear, she's courageous, she's a fighter, she's a change agent. So I see a theme coming here in the people that I most admire and emulate. I want to be more clear of my purpose. I want to be more courageous in how I verbalize it and how I go about enacting my purpose. And I want to be a change agent in this world for as long as I possibly can. So that's my story today, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, it's interesting because, bravery is a theme that you brought up before, and you mentioned, a time or two where you felt you were less than brave enough.
Absolutely.
And
Daily, we have those moments where we're like, oh my God, I am not brave enough to do this. And we have to intentionally turn that around every day that it happens. No, yes, I do have courage to do this. Now get off your ass and do it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I would love to get into a deeper discussion. I think people get too tied up in what they believe society's expectations are, and really, society doesn't give a shit. You can do what you want when you want to do it, and somebody, there may be some naysayers, but who the hell are they?
Right?
Right? I mean, when all's said and done, no one's going to remember us 100 years from now. Maybe they'll pick up go on YouTube and see a 3 Martini lunch and say, who was that person?
Mm-hmm.
Sociologist or something like that. But otherwise, you might as well just do it.
Right? Although those of us who teach understand that as long as our students are alive, we are alive in our students and the memories that they carry of the work that we've done with them. So that's our immortality, is teaching.
That's true. One of the things I learned as an educator, though, is you only have to be 1 chapter ahead of the class.
That's right.
to be, a brilliant teacher. Let's go over to Jenny Midgley. Jenny, quickly, who you are, latest success, and who's out there that has qualities that you aspire to have of your own.
Thanks so much. I'm going to be in and out, I think, the next few weeks because I have some other appointments, but I'm glad to be here today. I am Jenny Midgley. I'm a content marketing strategist and brand and marketing photographer. I help people get visible and grow an audience, whether you want to be Oprah or you just want to be you. You do you, boo. I also have a podcast called Girls to Do Stuff. Rena's been a guest. We had so much fun.
So much fun.
And I had so much fun recording on Rena's podcast. Highly recommend you listen. The first name that popped in my head, I had two, similar to Rena, I had 2 women, the names that popped in my head. And the first one was Sarah Madras, who is my podcast co-host. And every time we record a show or we have a meaningful interaction all of our interactions are meaningful, but when we actually have a purpose-driven discussion about something going on with our business or whatever, I always walk away going, wow, I want to be I don't want to be Sarah when I grow up, but I would like to embody some of the qualities that Sarah just exudes. And she had this big brand relaunch party on Friday night, which if you know me, I am not someone to get dressed up and put on heels and a fancy, it is my idea of a torture to do that, to wear heels for any extended period of time. And extended means that they go on my feet. And I, of course, because I love Sarah, I did it, but it was super fun. And she showed off her new commercial, and she showed up and she was all of her badass self. And, and the running theme in my head, I texted her yesterday and I was like, I just have to tell you that at least once an hour, what pops in my head is trust is money, because that's the theme that was running through her new brand commercial. And she's like, oh, good. That means the commercial worked. I was like, did you have subliminal messaging in there? Or what's going on that I've been having these interactions with clients? And that's my first thing that's coming is trust is money. Because if you don't trust your team, you're losing money, or you're spending money to just spend money. There's no intention behind it.
Or you're working way too hard.
Right. Or if you want to hire me to do a job and then you still want to do that, hey, good on you. You need to go talk to my friend Sarah. That's pretty much where I came to it yesterday afternoon. So Sarah is somebody who I really admire, and I appreciate her as a friend and as a businesswoman, and she's super cool. And the other person that popped in my head was Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I think that for a multitude of reasons, RBG, like the mainstay, and I grew up in DC, so like knowing about what was going on in the Supreme Court was like in the local news, like it wasn't, but as I became more curious and did my own research and learned more about RBG and what, like, the life that she had and what she stood for and how all of that impacted even just her daily interactions and things like that. And I mean, literally, like, that's going to be me working until the day that I can no longer be at work, right? Like, that's going to be me. But it's really like, there are so many, there's the little sound bites and things that have carried themselves on in quotes and t-shirts and fancy things. But the reality is, like, what she embodied was just stand up, speak up when it makes sense, stay still and quiet and listen when you need to, and understand that being yourself is the best gift that you can give to the world. So like that is where I want to carry that torch along. That, and then Rena said Stacey Abrams, and I was like, oh yeah, I want her to.
Have you been reading recently the whole hullabaloo about Katie Couric censoring Ruth Bader Ginsburg later in her life?
I have not gone down that rabbit hole because I don't read memoirs. Like, it's just not.
Well, she had censored interviews with her because she said, I don't believe that Ruth Bader Ginsburg was of sound mind when she was making those statements.
Yeah, well, we're
very,
just
very, very disappointing.
Katie Couric anymore, are we?
Katie Couric is going to put herself above a Supreme Court justice of any type.
That's some balls right there. But no, we're not. I don't get it. Like, and I shouldn't say I don't read memoirs because I do read memoirs. But like, I have such limited time to read that, like, I'm very intentional about what I pick and choose. And no offense to Katie Couric, I'm open to a conversation, but yours is not one that would be on my list.
Yeah, pull that article because it does really set the record straight on some of Ruth Bader Ginsburg's opinions at the end of her life. I think that's important to know if you're a fan, for sure. Hey, Jay Izso. So a little bit about who you are, most recent success, and the question.
I was trying to unmute myself. Clearly, I have never done a Zoom before either, as well. So I am a peak performance coach. I generally work one-on-one with people and very small teams. I work pretty much with small businesses and micro businesses for sure. I'm also a keynote speaker and speak around the country. I am a 4-time published author, and I have my own show called A New Direction, where I interview best-selling authors in success and leadership from all over the world. That is a radio show that's coast to coast and a podcast. Something great that happened, I think there's a couple things. One, I restarted up with my coach. It really felt good to just restart up again with my coach and do some coaching. I sometimes having that coach, well, no, not sometimes, just having that coach out there just inspires new ideas and new thoughts and new processes. And he really gave me some things to work on. And so that was really exciting. I also got to speak to a group of financial advisors on a new keynote that I'm doing on cognitive bias in both clients and salespeople. And not only recognizing what that cognitive bias is, but what is the antidote? What is the antidote to it? So that was a lot of fun to speak to some financial advisors. So this question, Stephen, was awful for me, honestly. And it was awful because I could not think of like one person. I was so envious of the people who, could come up with somebody like Domenic would just immediately come up with Coach Bill Peak, and I can't remember her name. The bike, I can't remember her name all of a sudden. Does bikes for charity.
Katie.
Thank you. Bobby Bones, and then Jimmy Carter, and then Mark Albert Einstein and Sid Freeman and Stacey Abrams and Justice Ginsburg. I have so many people that I look to influence me in different parts of my life. So as a host of a radio show podcast, I am really influenced by Lawrence Harvey Zager. If you don't know who that is, you should. His name's Larry King, is who that is. And I study Larry King immensely to this day, watching interviews, watching his style, watching what he does, because I want to be more like him in terms of having that interview approach and stepping out of the way. Bit from a business standpoint, Richard Branson, Mark Cuban, Steve Jobs. I admire the maverick, their maverick, who they are and what they did. From a personal standpoint, it's Jason Van Camp and Command Sergeant Major Tom Satterley. They were Special Operations Forces guys, and I just admire how they go about doing their business day to day, and appreciate their integrity. I appreciate their service certainly, but because they have something there that I just want to follow on a regular basis, I love that. From a physical standpoint, it's Pat McNamara. If you want to follow him, he's at TMACS, TMAX Inc. on Instagram. He is again a Delta Force guy who is my age. He's 57 and is in tremendous shape, and he does things that are really, really cool physically. Spiritually, I really like two people. It's Chuck Swindoll and Rabbi Daniel Lapin. They have really been an influence to me spiritually. And if you get a chance, if you're looking for a book that to just get yourself going, from Rabbi Daniel Lapin, it's called Business Secrets from the Bible. It's really cool, and he's a really cool rabbi, and I really admire him. And then, there's a couple other folks out there, but I think the thing that I thought about when you asked this question, Stephen, why it was so difficult, is because I see myself in such a multidimensional way, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And I don't know that there's one person that I can actually look at and say, well, they have all those qualities that I aspire, because the word you used was aspire. And I think it is a multiple people that I aspire to on different levels. And I think we all do. I think if you were to give us more time, I think I'm watching the nods of the heads and as I went through it. And I think if you were to re-ask this question again really quick and say, who would you add? I think we would all say, well, there's really a plethora of people that we would probably.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I think Sarah and I we created Rockstar Connect, and we've been doing that for many years. I'm also in the real estate business here in North Carolina, and one of the teams to really admire in Raleigh, North Carolina would be Jay and his wife Linda, who run an incredible team that's independent of any other brokerage. It's like their own thing, and literally support directly, immediately 50 families' livelihood in the triangle, and through them impact thousands of people. I mean, but it takes a certain quality that they have working together, because everything they do is together, to have created that success. And I know Jay doesn't like to take a lot of credit for that, and it's great that he leaves that to Linda, but it is a teamwork. And Sarah, this year I had my best year in real estate, almost by necessity, because the government, you have to pivot to where the government will allow you to pivot nowadays, and real estate is still something with a lot of freedom in it. And my best year in production, and my best year in volume, substantial, number one in my entire brokerage. I said, we really need to grow that, Sarah and I, to help other people. And so I would say that Jay and Linda are great models for that. And we're going to probably copy a little bit, but to that end, I love sharing and I love teaching. As to Sarah, we're doing masterminds now in our home on a weekly basis, where we invite different real estate professionals and entrepreneurs, and we share, basically do a 3 martini lunch in person. And we're going to use that to establish and grow our group and grow our real estate company. So I want to give a kick out to you, Jay, that you and Linda certainly have attributes that we aspire to as well.
Thank you. That's really kind of you. Thank you.
Yeah, I would imagine you guys probably had your best year ever.
Yeah. The last 2 years have been top 2 years in real estate. And you're right. We don't belong to a national company. We are a independently owned, completely local, independently owned, and operated company. Very, like you, pretty much. And we built this, and she's been doing it for 35 plus years, and has been able to stay. She's been able to stay at the top of her game because she has a passion for it. She loves what she does, and she was one of the early female pioneers of establishing a business, a true giant business in the real estate market, apart from anyone.
There are very few people that have sold $1 billion of real estate anywhere in the United States, and even less women that have accomplished that than men. And I would say that she has done that and over and over again. And beyond that, they're very particular. They don't just take anyone into their company. And Jay is very much involved, or has been involved in the past, in helping hand select those people. And they don't say it's going to be easy. It's not easy to make money and be successful. But if you fit their model, you're going to be successful. And I know people that I count as my friends that have worked with their company that I worked with for 10 years. And I know if I'm going to be in a transaction, everyone's going to be successful because of what they've done. Hey, so now that I gave you a little bit of a warmed you up there, everyone, I think that everyone here is great and terrific, and I aspire to have all your great qualities. Maybe we'll do a show where I'll point out what I think your individual qualities are. And I appreciate you all. Yes.
Real quick, what's the state of Rockstar Connect nationally with,
Yeah, it's we have 25 events currently going on around the country, which for any networking company, that's a lot of events, but we were at 250 events per month prior to COVID. So of course, we need more events, and we want more events to bring us where we were. But we pivoted quite a bit, during COVID. So we provide a lot of other services to our clients. So we have some people that say, hey, they aren't having events, but we're doing all their marketing for them, or we're running their website for them, or when they're traveling, we're setting up pop-up events for them. Is really the team that Sarah developed, with Alan and the other people in our company like Kim. They can do anything that's an event. And guess what? Almost everything in life is an event. So they're fantastic at logistics. So now I'm hiring Rockstar Connect myself. I'm a client and an owner, but I'm also a client of the company. Just like the hair club. And they're going through, the only reason why I've not had a real estate team in the past is I joined real estate in order to develop Rockstar Connect. I mean, Jay knew from the very beginning. I said, I'm going to do events. This is what I want to do. So that was 13 years ago. Now I recognize how important real estate is. It's not just like, oh, well, I'm going to use it to demonstrate how successful Rockstar Connect can be. Rockstar Connect can make a real estate agent extremely successful. It's done fantastic things for me, but they are literally going through what I do and say, everything that I do, every transaction is an event. How can Rockstar Connect do beyond just the physical networking event? How can they run an entire business? So they're creating the systems that are being put into place so that another agent would have value joining my team, because they would be a rock star themselves. They would have their own event. They would have follow-up and everything that's necessary to make you successful in real estate. And Raleigh, North Carolina, Mark, happens to be just one of these great places with extremely innovative people, both in marketing and in events. And in addition to that, in real estate, there's some extreme real estate innovators here. So we are stealing from the best. And Sarah's incorporating a lot of that into what we're doing. Now, we're not interested in having a mega team, but we would love to have a nice sized team that we can demonstrate how Rockstar Connect can help them be even more successful. As far as events, we have events, spaces, and lists all over the country where we're ready to put in Rockstar Connect hosts. So if you know of anyone who would like to host their own event, and be locally famous, and our hosts that are on the show will tell you it definitely does work. Reach out on our website, reach out to Sarah or myself, and we'll get you started. In fact, Mark, we have an availability for a host in Wellington. We just got a great venue there. So if you know of anyone in Florida who's ready to rock and roll, they could be having an event in Wellington.
I think you're going to get a call from some of the folks, for sure, a gal in California named Tracy. And probably
Well, we're excited because California is slowly
but California, once you get into Orange County South, you're good. You go to LA County North, it's still a problem, but Orange County South, it's open. It's like Florida.
Rhonda Sher is going to start hosting her event again in California. Richard Hershey's hosting his event in North Beach as soon as we can get him a venue. And we're very excited about where Rockstar Connect is going, especially what our capabilities are.
Yeah.
John, if you have some agents that really want to, achieve some very high success, send them over to us. We'd love to have an event for them as well. Hey, thank you, everyone. And I will be wearing a Speedo next week. Over my wife's dead body, I will be wearing a Speedo.
For those of you who aren't paying attention to the chat, that's a joke. Please take it in the spirit with which it was given.
I wear a swim shirt, so I don't think a Speedo is going to be happening. So everyone, check out the Rockstar Connect website. Learn how to. Please, these panelists are here. Not only we love to help you, we love to help one another, but we love to help you even more. So reach out to the people on the panel. rockstarconnect.com. Everyone, will see you next Tuesday. Thank you.